You got to answer me, Paul. I got to hear it. Come on now.
All right. So the question was, what is stopping us from getting prosecuted with any accusation? That's pretty much what you say. I mean, Shannon
Yep.
Sharp, what could he have done any different?
Nothing.
Pretty much nothing, man.
Nothing.
Because
Nothing.
it doesn't matter if it's 1 year, 1 week, 5 years down the line, the woman can come back and say, sorry, he raped me. And she would have a case. That's the same thing with this case in China right now. Even though the woman pushed for more money, they were pretty much making out in the elevator where they saw the proof that they were intimate. The man went to court and they gave him 6 years. He appealed. He got 3 years. So we are seeing a serious problem in our society, my friend. This shit ain't a joke. So if you're asking me how to protect men, I can't protect men against the law unless don't participate in the game at all. There's nothing else to it.
My only thing I would say, Paul, would be, and this is so bad to say, get your passport and have sex overseas. Like, what sense does that make? Like, if I want to have sex, I got to go overseas now. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is how bad it's gotten. If I want to have sex, I got to go overseas in a better country that's more conservative, where she has to actually prove that I didn't grape her.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing now.
That's how far we've fallen.
Because if I even approach a woman in the United States now, just like you said, 5 years down the road, if she sees that I've blown up, she can extort me for money and say, yeah, you essayed me. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, Paul, do you understand my dilemma? I don't even know what to do anymore.
I hear you, brother. I mean, the point is, what we need to discuss is, has the divide gotten so wide that there's no hope of coming back together? Is that what we're all basically saying?
I don't think that there's no hope.
Pretty much.
Tell me your prediction, Michael.
Well, I'm not going to live to see it, but it's just like anything else, especially societal. The pendulum goes from one end to the other, right? And so far, we are so gynocentrically posted over here. Women can do no wrong and everything. And it's just building. It's like a balloon that's overinflated, and it's going to pop. Men are going to uprise, and women, I hate to see this, but I believe that women are going to suffer, and it might throw them back in the dark ages. I mean, it might be like the Muslim world.
You're talking about
women,
Afghanistan.
Like women that are treated like animals, and I just see that it's going to be so extreme that that's where it's probably going to go. And I hate that.
Well, a lot of revolutions bear atrocities. So that's what you're talking about. Here's the problem. Normally that would be the case. Unfortunately, once the demons have gotten it to swing to that point, now you actually have men who don't know what they are. So to swing back to the other way, you're talking about a revolution, and of course there will be women and men on this side of it. The problem is there will also be men on this side of it. And it's one thing to fight against them, as we're calling it them, but it's not really all women. But now you got men who don't know what they are. Like our almost vice president, Mr. Waltz, dodged his service, dodged his group, lies about everything, but he thinks he's a man. We're going to have to deal with people like that legally, legislatively, and unfortunately, most of them, I'm a truck driver. I'm not a politician, but the politicians are weak, two-faced, lacking in honor, lacking in morality. These are the people who are already in charge. So your revolution is problematic because the people with the power and the keys to the car are the debaucherous ones who are led by the demons. I don't really see how that revolution is going to win.
Yeah. Well, he did say that JD did. We're talking about JD Vance, right?
No,
I'm talking about Tim Waltz.
No. Tim on Tim.
I'm talking about Mr. Waltz.
The DEI hire.
The vice
the
president.
DEI hire. Okay, gotcha.
And he, when his unit got deployed, he got out of it. When my unit went to get deployed, everybody was trying to stay with it. We all wanted to. My brothers are going. I'm going with them. He who's a high-ranking NCO, say, "My brothers are going. I left my stove on. Let me go back. We're gonna have to fight against people like that who are weak. And the thing is, they're already in charge. Tell me how that's going to work out.
Well, the problem that is a major issue. If you have the people in charge who are constantly pushing for a gynocentric society. Right now, I mean, I listened to an interview with J.D. Vance, who's saying that we have a serious problem in the U.S., which is the birth rates, and no men are getting married anymore. So he recognizes that there is a problem. I don't know if you guys saw that interview, but I'll see if I can pull it up and include it here. But the point is that there is some recognition from the high ups that the society is in trouble. And here's the thing. I mean, you guys still never answered the simple question. Name me a society that is flourishing, both in population growth, both in harmony and happiness, and in female happiness, that has adopted a gynocentric or a feminized society. Name
But
me.
we did answer it. We answered it in our silence. We answered it in everyone on this panel. There is not one. The thing is, this is not a secret. It's not a debate. It's nothing. But yet, the truth is known by all, but followed by none, because optimists look for a brighter day. Pessimists know it's going down. Realists know that there's only one or two ways to fix it, but if the optimists aren't willing, let it crash.
I got a solution.
Go ahead. I just said all major societies have collapsed once they stop paying attention. And really, I think in a lot of ways, is that we overcome so much adversity, external adversity, towards a society because we become so dominant and powerful that we turn it on ourselves, for lack of an external source to conquer, right? And it's the Roman Empire, all the great empires of history all decayed the same exact way. We're just the latest iteration of the same thing.
Hey, Paul.
Yes,
I got a question. I got a solution. I think I know where this whole thing is going.
Okay.
We were speaking about AI earlier, right? They got some smart people out there in the world that are actually creating female dummies.
Yeah.
That are very lifelike. It's going to get a lot better in the next 10 years. I'm talking about a lot better. Where they're almost lifelike.
I would even say 5 years.
Exactly.
It's
until women see that as a threat, because all men have to do is just pay what, 10,000 grand or whatever, 5,000. They'll put it on a payment plan. To a woman that is almost lifelike, that can give me everything I want. Until that happens, it ain't changing.
One thing that's going to happen big time first: artificial wombs and incubation of kids. Yes. That's going to liberate women, and to the point where they don't have to have kids. But then the problem arises, okay, well, what other use are you? Because now we have sex dolls that don't talk back. Nice, very, very adaptable to our needs. Feels just like a woman. Skin is soft and warm. I mean, you're talking about 10,000. They're going to be mass produced at such an alarming rate that the price will soon easily hit $1,000. Very affordable for the majority of men who want one. And men will be very happy with that, coming home, talking to right now. Right now, as we speak, there are AI apps that acts as a boyfriend, girlfriend. So woman did you see that 60-minute video?
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many women that use ChatGPT as their friend.
Exactly.
Throughout the day.
So you come home and you want to just have a chat and talk pleasantly. That's going to be the go-to, where you just sit and talk to your AI, get all your problems off your mind, and you have somebody who's pleasant and sweet that can listen to you. So you decompress there.
Yep. And
if it's warm and cozy and it has a couple of, slipper holes, you're good to go. I didn't say it like that, but
they even have I don't know if you've seen MIT or one of these structures where they have robots now that can actually do human tasks.
Yeah.
That can dance, that can run, that can pick things up. Yeah. The next evolution is going to be a female.
Yeah.
It just only makes sense. It's all you have to do is just turn on a button and tell them what you want, and that's it.
Listen, throughout history,
they already about probably more than before COVID. They already had the parts for a gentleman to enjoy himself.
Right.
And it's basically the hips, the derriere, and the necessary canals.
Yeah.
And all they're working on was perfecting it so that it has all the right muscles and all the right hormonal ingredients necessary for the feel goods. So since I'm on YouTube, I'm choosing my words wisely here. So they already have that. I saw a documentary on it. Gentlemen were giving their feedback on it. And then they were trying to figure out if they could get something for the ladies. And they said that's been in existence. That's not a problem. It's getting the something for the gentleman. So now we're going to have legs. I don't have a problem with any of that stuff because quite frankly, a lot of women are getting away with taking advantage of men with low self-esteem, or men who are just looking for a person that they will soon have a wife and children and all that. They're taking advantage of those people. They have hidden agendas. They have long-term. And I mentioned this like a year ago when I first spoke with you guys, Paul, about a guy who his wife married him, left him at 8.5 months, and did the next year and a half stretching out reconciliation until his pension kicked in. And I'm like, who does that stuff? That's someone who does this a long-term con. I said, I don't get it. I guess having been raised by my dad to not do that to men, my dad told me, if you ask for something, you got to offer something. And there's no con in a relationship. That's not the way it is. So my philosophy is there's no con. There's this and this. When you offer, you give and you take. But it's I guess amazing.
It's the reality.
I wish you could just tell guys, listen, you're an average guy. You're not, the Brad Pitt. This chick is after your coins. Use her and don't invest in her. But some people let the libido take over. And there are women out there who are so good at what they do.
The problem is that social media and TikTok has made one person out there, let's say like a Sierra 7. What's the phrase that she used? Sprinkle woman. She's out there giving advice on how to train women to do the worst to men. And there's a Russian girl, there's a bunch of these girls that are just passing around information on how to manipulate men. And they're using really dark techniques, man. So men really don't have a choice when his libido
and then they have the legal system behind them that they could go back and just be anonymous and no one ever knows.
That's the critical thing.
Yeah.
Is the anonymous part of it. Yeah. And being able to go back to life without any punishment.
Yeah.
The real key to all of this is twofold in my mind. Is one, that it's too easy for women to get away with the accusation without proof or win cases even in the face of proof to the opposite. And secondly, even when they're proven guilty, they just walk away. They don't ever get hurt. They don't ever get punished. There's no recourse that the man could take to get vengeance. There's no punishment. So it's like, why wouldn't you? If you're a woman, you walk into this, you're like, well, I'll give it a shot. It might not work, but it's not like it's going to go badly for me. And then, oh, well, that didn't work, but I got close. So let me try it again. Oh, let me try it again. Oh, let me try it again. And until they start getting thrown up against the wall and put in prison, just like the men they're accusing, and have heavy consequences for false accusation, nothing will ever change because we're just rewarding women for rolling the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. Hey, look, I got 6s. I'm rich. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. And no matter what you roll, you either win or you end up where you were when you started. So I'll keep playing that game forever.
The problem is if a man does the same con on a woman, he goes to jail. Because all it is a con, right? It's a long con or short con. Either way you look at it, it's a con. But if a man does it, I always go back to the Twindler Swindler. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Tinder Swindler. Yeah,
Tinder, that's what it was. A Tinder Swindler. All he did was just basically told women what they wanted to hear. They gave him money willingly. and the man went to jail for it. But the women do that every single day, day in, day out. Marry the man, take his money, and then divorce him. But they never pay the consequences for that. So I don't understand, or men are still telling themselves that they could get away with a woman doing it to them, but and not push back hard. There has to be a serious uprising for men.
Yeah,
That's
there
the
has to
societal
be,
change.
but like I said, you got men who don't know what they are. Now, whereas I'll sit here and say, I'm not an optimist. I'm not really a pessimist, even though it might look that way. I'm a realist. I will throw you in jail. And when you say, oh, the patriarchy, I'll say, oh, get your ass in the shell. I'm willing to do what needs to be done. I just recently wrote a piece and it's called Balance the Scale. It's on the school site. This is exactly what I was talking about. We clearly see the imbalance, and it's not just men and women, it's society. And because, like he said, if we give no punishments, no repercussions to bad actions, and we give nothing but excuses on why we're allowing the bad actions to happen, they're gonna keep happening. But everyone knows this. This is not a secret, but yet we still do it. This is delusional insanity. But it's because a lot of men don't know what they are. And because we don't know what we are, the rest of society, which is there's only one other part of society, has said, you know what? If they don't know what they are, nobody's watching the candy store. Boom, Tinder swindler, he goes to jail. Right now, this second, Paul, YouTube's algorithm is trying to figure out a way to block you, to sanction you. If you sneeze and it's at a picture of a woman, you're blocked, you're demonetized. But Sprinkle Sprinkle is still running her mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's one thing I wanted to bring up, especially when it came to the AI part. I saw I was looking for it while you were talking. I saw an episode of a TV show called Accused, and it was dealing with AI and specifically an AI robot, where the plot was there was a husband and wife, and she was a busy executive. He used to be part of a group with them where it came to music, and AI replaced him. So he's now at home. She's still an executive. She had no time for him. So he was just going to do his thing. But at the same time, she said, okay, well, let me get with my sister, who is a AI expert. She has a secret project coming up regarding an AI robot. So he has nothing to do with it at first, but then she constantly suggests, hey, you want more of feminine intimacy, that type of thing. So how about you try this robot? So I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but he tries the robot, and that's when everything goes to crap, because the robot gives him everything that he wants, everything that he needs within that realm of the intimacy, and notices everything he does. It scans him first to ask him all the things that he's required, that she wants him to do, the robot to do, and it's a wonderful thing for him. And then when she finds out that the executive woman is finding out that the robot is doing all the things that she would not do or had no time to do, that's when the plot starts to happen. And you may want to go, I'm not going to say more about it, but it gives me to believe that in years' time, there will be, and there will have, the equalization will be, I think, a robot AI. Something of that source will allow those of us who are looking for that female / intimate connection, and this robot can provide it and is just as good, if not better, than what was. That's when I think a lot more women will decide, hey, I need to do something different, because if I can be replaced in the manner that the men want when it comes to filling that hole, no pun intended, I'm sorry, there's going to be a reckoning, because they're going to have to do something differently, because now in most cases, and I'm about to be out there in the field again. I'm about newly separated, about to be divorced, and I don't know what's out there. I've been in my relationship for 20 something years. What you guys
Strap on, man.
from you guys,
Strap down.
right. What I'm hearing from you guys is that there's going to be a rough going in terms of going back out there, and I'm not looking forward to it at all. But at the same time, I want to have these new experiences. I want to, involve myself with someone who would like to be with me for who I am, and to to have a relationship, but it's in somewhat, being a little bit more apprehensive because wow, I didn't realize it had gotten this bad. In the 20 something years that I was, with this individual, I saw some things. I did not really understand a lot of things. Now I'm understanding them a great deal, and it's frightening.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out what do I do when I put myself out there in that manner so that I can be the best that I can be and not come into these situations like a Shannon where one would want to be with somebody and then something happens and the next thing you know, you're in court. So that process is something that I'm, again, not looking forward to, but at the same time, I would hope that's something that can be done within this broader sense that can help with these matters that are happening when it comes to relationships. As an optimist, I'm not seeing a lot. Okay.
Grab your passport, man. Right? That's it. Just grab it. Don't worry about it. Just believe me what I tell you. Just grab your passport, man. You ain't gonna find it in US, UK. Forget about it. Don't waste your time, man. Just grab your passport and go.
Yeah, you're basically going to find three different groups of people. You're going to find more black pill people, which are just totally like sick of women. They're done with women. Goodbye, women. I don't need you anymore. Right? I've been burned by you to the point where I never want to touch you ever again.
I have a good friend of mine who's just that way. He's practically black pilled, and he already deals with women in DR in Dominican Republic, and he's done with women here. But that's his thing, and I don't necessarily want to have to leave the country, but majority of those who have talked about this are saying just that. And he is already gone. He's been there. I got another buddy of mine who's in Panama. He's never coming back. He's treated like a god in that country. So there are differences of opinion, and like I said, I'm going to be newly being out there once my whole thing with my current relationship is final, and I'm not sure where to go, what to do, and disheartening to see that after 20 something years of being in a relationship, and then all the things, like the plane example you gave, her bailing out, what I'm saying, and then me, running, trying to, drive the plane without any landing gear or whatever, and then I have to bail out, that type of thing. So the process is there, but again, I'm still hopeful. I still have some amount of optimism that is still there. Hasn't gone all the way yet, but hearing you guys, I don't know, and women, I don't know.
Yeah, boss, it's
So I'd like to jump in just a little bit.
Sure.
JB, I think take a little bit of what James has going on and some of what Iranola said. You're going to need to find a space where you get away from this garbage, and it may not necessarily be right here in America where you have places to go, but go on a nice little vacation and check out these places. Leave your money at home. Use what you have. And when your money runs out, come back home. Figure out how you're going to navigate this. But I think going on vacation and checking out these places, other than, doing the internet searches, go check them out and see what's happening. You got your buddy in DR, go visit him for 2 weeks, check it out. Go to Panama, visit him for 2 weeks, check that out and see what's really going down. Don't act like that poor guy that's barely got a pension, pretend you have no money, you know how to do that. And don't invest in these people. See what's happening out there. I encourage you to do that because, well, that it's weird out here. So definitely go and explore the outside world. And once you're retired, pick that lovely place that works for you. Let them treat you like the king. Don't chase anybody.
Yeah, and be careful because a lot of people, and I'm not saying that anybody here that's moved out of the country made any kind of great wronging, or a lot of people it worked out perfectly for them. It was exactly the right idea for them, but there's also a lot of noise out there in the Passport Brothers space that tries to make it seem like it's some magic carpet ride, right? That this right here is going to give me a magical experience in a foreign country where all the women I can treat like trash. I don't need to spend any money. I can just get laid all the time. It's going to be one big wild game. That's not how this works. You're looking at a different culture and you're having to decide whether this culture works for you or that culture works for you. And don't take anybody else's word for it. Go there, just like she said, experience it, get the inside scoop. Don't go through some sort of guided tour. Figure out if it works for you. And if it does, I guarantee you, you're probably going to find a good woman that will fit you in that lifestyle, but you're going to need to change as well. You can't just bring your, hey, I'm the big, hot American guy with all my flashy cash over there and expect them to just bow down at your feet, because they won't.
Oh, Paul, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
You know the problem with women today? They don't realize they're actually on borrowed time. Number one. Number two, they don't actually know the power of AI. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say the next 5 years, like you said, Paul, I can have an AI robot that can actually teach me how to make money. It's a female. And at the same time, have sex with me on demand. It's going to get to the point where a man's going to be like, wait, hold on for a second. This robot right here teaches me how to make money and even makes money for me, right? She will never divorce me, and I can have sex at will.
Oh, and she cooks and cleans too.
Why should I pick a human being as a partner moving forward? And notice I use the word partner.
Yeah.
For what? Like it's all lost. If I choose to pick a human being, it's all lost. Versus an AI that's actually going to teach me how to make millions.
Yeah.
And have sex with me.
And can have your kids.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and clean the house and fix your car and do everything else all at the same time.
Exactly. It's good. Paul, when men start asking that question, when that robot is developed, and men start asking that question to a woman, like, wait, hold on. Why I gotta pick you when I got this right here? When men start asking that question, now we got a serious problem or a solution.
Brother, you know, the second a woman knows that there's another, your desire.
Yes.
Woman,
yes.
That is when she drops in line. You know that. She's going to treat you like shit until she's realized that you're desired by someone else or something else that can replace her. Then her attitude changes. So unfortunately, it might take a freaking bunch of robots that hit the market to make women realize, oh, Christ, okay, I got to resort back to my dildo vibrator, or by then they'll probably start with producing male pumping robots. I don't know. I mean,
and then we're all going to be living our own little separate lives.
Yeah.
And males and females will never interact with each other again.
Yeah, more than likely.
But at the end of the day, Paul, I still ask the question, right? I still ask the question to the lawmakers. These are not stupid people. No matter what we want to say, we can call these men, whatever. They're not stupid people. They could see that this is a possibility in the future.
Very much so.
So the question I have is, Paul, what exactly is their end game? Keeping us separate. What exactly? I don't understand. It's not benefiting society.
The thing is,
just watch the movie WALL-E. It will all make sense after it.
Yeah, but it's like you said, Gary, it's capitalism that's running the show. What the reason why women are getting away with this sort of behavior is because your government isn't run by these people. They're run by corporations. And corporations know that if they piss off women and women stop buying from their stores, that they're going to have a problem. So they make sure that they keep women literally pacified. That's all that's happening. But I suspect that the big issue that's going to occur is when AI kicks in and a lot of women start losing their jobs and the loans come due and the lack of spending is not available, the disposable income or discretionary income isn't there anymore. Guess what's going to happen? All of that is going to go away, and women are.
Paul, no, Paul, I disagree.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
I disagree with you because
let me hear your theory.
This is why I disagree with you. Men, at the end of the day, are going to say, like you always say on your video, Jews ain't worth the squeeze.
The what? Jews ain't worth the squeeze.
Ain't worth the squeeze.
But the only way.
And once that AI robot, Paul, comes into existence,
well, which one's going to come? Which one's going to come first, the robot or the AI that's going to put them out of work? I think the work is going to happen within 2 years.
Yes.
Within 2 years, a massive percentage of women are going to be out of a job. It's happening now at an alarming rate.
Yes.
So that's going to happen first, and that's when they're going to be scrambling and getting back in line. Okay, I need a man. I need to get my. The only reason women are so brazen in today's environment is because they got daddy government and they have a job. That's the only two things that hold them together. And of course, OnlyFans. So once these things start to get replaced, you're going to see a lot of women start to get desperate where we already see it. I need a man. I need a man. I need a county. You see that on TikTok already. A lot of them are starting to panic right now. A lot of women are losing their jobs and they've already started panicking. I need a man. So once this kicks in mass, it's going to get serious. But by then, men are already saying, yeah, the only reason you want me now is because you're desperate, because you got no
Exactly.
system.
You're forgetting there's one little step in between when they get desperate and turn around, which was your timeline progression there. You missed the parasite phase, which is where we're at right now, or entering into the parasite phase, where women, before they will truly change, they will act. They won't change, they will act.
Yeah.
And they will become parasitic to men, but they will still hold on to that core corruption inside them. And that will fail again. And then it will descend a layer lower where they will truly be forced to change because there's no other option. Because women will always take the other way. Well, not all women. I'm not going to say that, but the vast majority of women will take any path other than accountability for their own action, even if it involves shooting fireworks into the skies and having crazy tantrums and whatever. It can seem insane the amount of energy they put into just saying, yeah, I was wrong. Instead of doing that, they put every effort in the planet. And it's only when you back them into a corner and there's no escape will they finally admit they were wrong. So there's that parasite phase that's going to take a long time to burn out. I don't think I'll live to see the end of it.
No, I don't.
Hey, Paul, so for instance, right? So say women get desperate and they now want to get with men. They say, okay, we're sorry, we want to get married. Men have been so burnt and destroyed over the years, man. Like they have so many scars, man. Like they don't forget all this stuff. That's number one. And then number two,
we're already there.
Men, we started to understand that, you know what, we can't trust women. Today she's happy, right? But tomorrow she could turn on me just like Shannon Sharp and say, you know what, you're a man of means. I don't want you anyway. It's the parasitic nature of the woman to say, you know what, just give me your money. Extort me for money, and she's got what she wants anyway. And she can do this to two or three men.
Yeah.
So men are starting to wake up and say, you know what, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Any way you slice it. Men are starting to realize that, you know what, even if women come back, they are possibly coming back for a certain reason to take from me, not to add to my life. So it's like, I don't see it.
I know. I mean, even the mere fact that this woman that Shannon Sharp, this woman that Shannon Sharp had, is clearly a prostitute. Clearly an online prostitute. Yet she actually think she can go online and go in the public sphere and simply demand money because he treated her, disrespectfully?
But you got the high class prostitute who was on a men's predominantly sports channel. And she slept with people and said if she didn't ever stop getting what she wanted, she would accuse them of something. Well, if you're a low class prostitute, you look at that high class prostitute and you're like, why not do what she's doing? She's doing it. And Shannon Sharp should have never allowed that woman into his orbit. She should have never been in his solar system. He let it in. If you never let it in, that low rent person, be they male or female, you don't let low rent people into your universe unless you want your universe to be chaotic and turn into a black hole.
Boss, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I don't know. So I'm trying to get from you all. It has the chasm, the divide that has occurred so big right now that we can't get it back together. Is that the general consensus? Only an optimist doesn't see through the haze and see that the chasm is too wide to jump. It's too wide to jump. Don't even jump. Let it fail. Because when people go homeless, hungry, there's the ones who can correct will correct, be they male or female. But the ones who cannot correct will be removed
from the equation. And that's what we need, but that's not going to happen because too many people don't know what they are. And on that separate thing, stop squeezing the juice to find out it's not worth the squeeze. Because the only thing you get from squeezing juice that you already know ain't worth the squeeze, you get sticky fingers. That's all you get, and flies.
I
Hi,
go.
I want to quickly jump in here.
Sure.
All right. I wanted to say, I was going to say to JB, yes. In as much as you have to get your passport and, just travel, you have to be very careful. I think, yeah, somebody already, the other lady, yeah, she said something about that because my husband is a passport bro, was a passport bro. He's from the Caribbean, right? And he left the UK and came to Africa and Ghana to be precise. And he got together with a local and he got really, really burnt. He's still going through it right now. The divorce case is so messy. And so if you have to be very careful, that's just all I have to say. These women are like sharks. You're waiting. Yeah. So please just go on and have fun. Just go out, have fun. Don't look for anything serious. Yeah, just have fun out there. And also, I wanted to say something. You see, this whole, I want to call it gender war, right?
Mm.
And I don't think there's going to be an end to it because as long as it's all being orchestrated by the capitalists, or, capitalism, it would not end. It's a game, and women are the pawn being used. And will I be right to say that this whole thing was started by men? The capitalists, are they not? When we're talking about the capitalists, are they not men? Somebody should correct me.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm right. Aha. So I don't know. It's a big problem, and if we have men at the top of this, playing this chess game and using women, weaponizing women, the end game is to line up their pocket to get wealthier and all of that. I don't think there's going to be an end to it. So maybe, like my brother Akin said, men will just have to go the way of AI. Robots.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think, because it's really crazy out there. Really, really.
But I think before we even get to AI, just like Paul said, there's going to be an economic downturn. There is going to be, it's going to get worse.
Well, it already
we are
is.
on a path that is not good. How it plays out in the years, in the months, as the economy goes down, as moral value goes down, everything is on a downward spiral. And part of it also, there are men out there that love this because with our OnlyFans, men are not turning away in masses from women in supporting this. Mm-hmm. So there's a vast group of men who love this or benefit from it or enjoying it, where you may have a small group of men that's saying, you know what, we don't want to deal with these women. We are going to go here. We're going to get our passports or go on there. So there's a majority of men who are supporting this type of lifestyle. And you have to look at that dynamic also, because OnlyFans don't exist, or these women at OnlyFans don't make these millions of money off other women. Yeah. It's other men that's supporting it. So men in mass are not turning away as they should.
But Gary, those are the men who are literally playing it as safe as possible. The woman over there, I can just get my pleasure from the screen. I'm good with that. That's all that is. Majority.
And what's the incentive for them to change if the men are not turning away and say, you know what, we are done with you on every aspect?
You know, the large percentage of OnlyFans users are married men. You didn't know that.
Well, just look at the Ashley Madison explosion back in the day.
Yeah, the majority of the users are married men who are in sexless marriages. Majority of them are not getting any sex from home, where the women have got them under freaking hostage situations. So you have to understand that majority of marriages are sexless and just ridiculous, because a lot of these modern women are holding sex as a negotiating tool for men. So these men go and get their sexual gratification off of OnlyFans.
So where do men go when
society has to collapse?
Yeah.
Because there's no real solution as it relates to relationship, because AI is not coming to the rescue. It's just too far off for us to get to that point where you haven't. No,
I think
I'm not saying it's not there, but it's not. AI is not coming to the rescue.
AI,
The
Don't do
society has
that.
to
AI
collapse
is coming
to
to the
restart.
you think there's an in between. The collapse has to occur first. Is that what you're saying?
Collapse is coming.
Yeah, well, I say
Well,
what I've been researching on the AI, it's there already. I'm telling you, the app is there. It's, I mean, I talk to my AI like I talk to my wife sometimes. Sometimes
Yeah.
I really get so deep involved with conversations to the point where I'm like, when I finish, I feel like, wow, that was really good. Thanks for that conversation. And she's like, yeah, no problem, Paul. I'm always here for you. And I'm like, shit, who am I talking to? You know, it throws you off for a while because I'm on my walk and
I'm always there for you.
yeah, exactly.
Let me jump in here.
In
Sorry,
a
please.
sweet voice. Yes, go on.
Yes, AI is just going to be a temporary relief. That's what I feel. Because at the end of the day, nothing can actually replace the natural process of things, right?
No.
The same thing about the intubation, is it the artificial womb or whatever it is called? We have babies naturally, and these children, you would agree with me, we have a lot of cases. We have ADHD, autism, Asperger's, and all of that coming even through natural birth process. How much more the troubles, the problems we will have in the future from children that were, nurtured or born via an artificial womb.
Yeah.
And then when we're talking about artificial womb, right, we're going to have to talk about egg harvesting. How many women have viable eggs? So it's a lot of process. So I don't really think it would just bring a bit of respite, maybe a little bit of sanity, but it can't really take over. So we'll probably have to have a collapse, like a shutdown and a reset, and then we'll start all over. That's what I think.
The thing is, once we get into neural interface technology, like Elon's working on and so forth, there's some other companies. All of your arguments would be completely null and void at that point because the sex robot wouldn't even need to exist.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I keep saying.
The technology
problem
is there.
sorry, Paul. The problem I was having is she thinks, man, we want kids. We don't want kids like that. We don't really. Yeah,
we're already in population decline, right?
Yeah.
We don't care about that.
You may not. You may not worry about that.
We don't care about that as much as you do.
No.
Men don't care about kids like women do.
Women want to feel that is part of their biology. They want to feel like they have fulfilled a certain part of their femininity. But men, on the other hand, he wants to spread his seeds far and wide. I want to know that my DNA is passed on once I'm gone. This becomes even more prominent and more important as I reach the end of my life. I'm going, this is it. This is where it ends. No, man. I want to be able to say, I got 2 daughters out there, making sure they reproduce, and I know that my DNA is going to go on, for a little while longer. So this is part of our evolutionary trait. We are not connected to the child in the womb for 9 months before it enters the world. It takes a while for a man to connect to his DNA. That's usually through interaction. It took me a while. I don't know if the rest of you gentlemen have felt the same way. It never instantly happened where you just look at your child and go, oh, my little baby. No, it took me weeks. Sometimes I think first one was like, I was getting worried. Like, I don't even know, am I supposed to love? How am I supposed to love it? How does it feel? And then after a while, it kicks in because now you've been nurturing it. You've been spending some nights, rocking it and everything. And it's like hate to say, it's no different from a pet. When you first get the pet, it's not that attracted to it until you start feeding it and nurturing it. And all of a sudden, that's my little baby. I'll kill for that little thing. My dog, my baby. You get my point. Whereas the mother, she's instantly bonded with it from the time it was a seed because it's inside her. We expel our seed. It's not inside us. So that's the difference between males and females when it comes to bonding. But in essence, we want to pass on our DNA. I mean, that's how I feel when I had my kids, or how I felt. But bottom line is we do want kids.
I look at history and I look at what's going on now, and there's a lot of the similarities. There's a lot of things that I think are to come. I don't think we're going to be at a point where will duplicate it altogether. But if we look back and we see some of the things that have happened, we can determine some of the things that we can do and not do going into our next phase. So I think our next phase right now, especially with AI, the economics is going to change. All the things that you're talking about, where things are going to be replaced, not enough people are going to have those jobs, and the process is going to repeat itself. And as a result, I think I'm hopeful. Like I said, I'm an optimist, but I'm hopeful that the process in terms of that happening will bring women back to the table, as opposed to like saying, I'm this boss, whatever, and I can do all things on my own. Once that economic thing does happen, and more of us are, wanting to be together for that purpose, maybe, just maybe, that will be the tide, the turn in the tide. If not, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, but again, like I mentioned, there's a parasite phase in there. The tide doesn't turn without the parasitic in between, and that's going to take a long time to bleed out, because there's always going to be simp men. There's always going to be young men that are led around by their dick, and there's always going to be a food supply for that kind of stuff going on out there. There always has been, there always will be. But once we get the majority of women are financially depressed from the situation they're right now, when the college loans all start rolling in and like we're getting this massive crash out, and that either further to the next generation of women go, ooh, well, maybe I don't want to go to college because this was such a bad idea for my mom, and so forth and so on. That will be generational. It'll take a long time to trickle down, and we'll actually probably reset to what would happen if that would continue. We'd reset to more like before the 70s, where women would be dropping completely out of the workforce and going back to traditional roles, and that men's salaries would increase, and because the job scarcity would become there'd be so many jobs because the women just wouldn't do them anymore. And we'd go back to the way things were, theoretically. But is that going to happen anytime soon? No. I don't think there's a person on this call that's going to be alive by the time that even is a twinkle in anybody's eye. But for a little kid right now, like if you were like 10, you probably got a good outlook by the time you're 40, 50. But for all this whole generation between right now, luckily, I'm old enough that I got my kicks in and pretty much made it to this point without getting totally ruined by the whole thing. But I really, really worry about this, the 20-something-year-olds right now, because they're just entering into this fast accelerating. They never even saw the top. They're on a boulder rolling down fast, and it's a long, long, deep pit they're headed towards.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of people that even understand what's down there.
Byron,
I
sorry.
got a couple of takes on this. Number one, I don't want to see a disintegration of women's anything, and the reason why,
None of us do.
Yeah, I have a few blessings. I've been postgraduate school, corporate America, international marketing, divorced once, not twice like JB, so I don't want to catch up. But with those travels, I've been able to see, well before I knew about passport bros, how men were treated in other countries, and I loved it. I never saw, though, the other side of the pendulum, because most of the women I met at meetings, most of the women I met were all high-figure women. So either I paid for whatever, they paid for it. I never had this struggle at all, because my little black book, wherever I was, we were basically all on the same plane. It wasn't until the pandemic hit, when corporations started cutting travel, and they start saying, okay, you can work from home or you can work from a more local site, then I had to then transition into, okay, let me see who's around locally. And that's when the shock hit me, because the hands were out. They were. Mm-hmm. And I know one particular situation where she said, we're going to go out to dinner. We're going to go out to a movie. This is the hotel I'd want to go out. And oh, by the way, make sure you go to the bank, because tomorrow I want to be handed $500. And I went, I was like, excuse me? And I said, are you a prostitute? She says, no, those are my expectations. Dinner, movie, the hotel, but I said, I'm not giving you $500.
That is prostitution. Well,
yeah, no, but I know. She said, well, make it 300. And so I am so used to being with women who had six-figure or higher set money. I never experienced that until 2020, 2021. And I say 20 because we were all locked down. And it brought me to the internet. It brought me to the internet. to really see, oh my God, this is what's going on. And so my fear is not AI. My fear is not all of this other. My fear is retirement because if I'm retiring, that means I got to pay for myself to fly to all of these destinations in my little black book, to use that terminology. And the likelihood that'll happen will probably be very, very, very slim. My divorce, African American female, no issues, concerns. We just weren't properly yoked. I decided, yeah, I decided not to go back to that direction. And then, but I don't want to blame it because I was with a young lady from Greece for 10 years and it wasn't working either. So I came to the conclusion there was something out there I wasn't aware of because I was jet setting. And I would be on the plane with Fredericks of Hollywood models and all of this other type of thing. I never saw what was on, quote unquote, the underbelly of society outside of listening to Nicki Minaj or Megan Thee Stallion and all that. I didn't see that because it wasn't around me. All right. So my indoctrination over the last 4 years has been very eye-opening, and it's a shock. It's really a shock.
Yeah,
It's really a shock. So I would say my concern is retiring, no longer jet setting, to use that term, and having to put myself out there to the person who was expecting $300, or whatever at the end, because apparently that does happen more. And it's just probably not a video or a podcast where people talk about those situations. The other issue, I think people twerk. We talked about that earlier. People twerk because it's easy. They don't have to go take dance lessons. It's easy to do. Anybody can do it, regardless of the age. And if I remember correctly from watching some videos, it used to be called working it in the South. It was not ever called twerking. It was called working it. And someone took it and put a little TW on it, and it became twerking it. But my concern is retirement now. Listen to you guys. Listen there.
yeah.
My concern.
And I think that's how you should be thinking. Hold on
Yeah.
every dime you can right now, because I don't think things are going to get any easier for any of us. It's more important for you to get your money up and buckle down and keep your expenses as low as possible so that you can get to the end of this life without having to either end up on the street with a shopping cart or standing in some government line waiting for the next hot meal or sandwich. That's just the reality of it. But the relationship market as we see it, I guess we've all came to the same conclusion. It has literally gone the way of the dodo bird, as they say. It's
well, not completely. Gary managed to find one.
Yeah, listen, there's still sparkles all over.
So did Michael.
Yeah.
1 in a million. 1 in a million.
No, that's 2 in a million.
2 in a
Michael
million.
got one.
2
Paul
and
got
2
one,
million.
and Sean
Well,
got
no.
one. So we got
Wait a
4.
minute.
And Io, so that's 5.
Now, Gary,
I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
I had to import mine.
Really?
I got imported 42
Hey,
years
well,
ago.
Same here.
people pay a premium for imported goods generally.
But I got imported too. I got imported too.
See, look at that.
See?
Imports.
Now, Gary, you guys from the Black People Meet, I think I saw a previous podcast. Is that
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's us.
Yeah,
yes.
I got on that for a minute and called hell, so I got off. So
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It was short-lived, but we found each other.
Yes.
So we got off.
You guys are lucky, man. All right, my friends, on that note, I think we can conclude this week's or this bi-weekly. Is it? No, that'll be
bi-monthly.
bi-monthly,
Yeah,
bi-monthly
every
meeting.
Every 2
Yes,
weeks?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So awesome chat, my friends. Awesome chat. Listen, anything else we want to say? I'm going to stop the recording now.